You haven't had sex with your husband or wife in a year, and despite both of you working on all the related issues, you still don't want to. Now they're having sex with someone else. But guess what? The bad guy here might not be who you think it is. Stick around till the end of this video because I've got a special gift that can take you from sexless to speechless in the bedroom. I'm Iseman, a relationship coach on a mission to give you the tools and skills that you need to build the relationships that you want and deserve. This channel shares all the lessons that I've learned the hard way so you don't have to. So what is a sexless marriage? Well, there's actually no scientific consensus on exactly what defines a sexless or dry marriage. Some researchers say it's when a couple has sex less than 10 times a year, while others say it's when there's no sexual activity for a year. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. According to the General Social Survey at the University of Chicago, 26% of Americans haven't had sex in the last 12 months, and 12% of couples haven't had sex in the last 3 months, with 1 in 6 men and 1 in 4 women in the US not having had sex in the past year. But what does that mean for your relationship? Let's break it down before you break down. So does it even matter? Well, if the lack of sex bothers you or your partner, then yeah, it matters. But research also shows that the amount of sex in a relationship doesn't always correlate with relationship happiness. As my spirit animal, globally renowned psychotherapist and New York Times bestselling author Esther Perel says, in order to want more sex, it has to be sex worth wanting. It's not just about quantity, it's about quality. Yes, maintenance sex is a real thing, those regular check-ins to keep your intimate connection alive, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. Sometimes you just gotta put the reps in, but it shouldn't feel unpleasant. It just means not every whale you catch is gonna be Moby Dick. But why do some marriages become sexless? According to current research, the average married couple has sex about 1 time per week. Date night for the win. And that number will actually fluctuate over the course of your relationship and your lifetime for various reasons. So what can turn off the weekly wet and wild, causing a relationship to dry out? Let's start with the ultimate intimacy killer, stress, which can come from work, financial issues, anxiety, and even our comparison culture. We are constantly being bombarded with messages across streaming and social media that intentionally feed our jealousy and insecurity and create an addiction loop of distraction. Don't compare the curated highlights of someone's sponsored life to the lived reality of yours. Doom scrolling and TV give us a false sense of connection, but they're really distractions that are pulling us away from the real connection that we seek. Put down the nightmare rectangle and talk to your partner. Some other common reasons that can dry things up are a communication breakdown, not talking openly about your needs, or having repeated unpleasant sexual experiences in the relationship that go unheard or unaddressed. Repressed trauma. Untreated past experiences can actually affect our present intimacy or lack thereof. Biological changes, hormonal, physiological, or neurological shifts. Mismatched libidos. One partner might have a higher sex drive than the other. There are actually 2 main types of desire in sexual relationships. There's spontaneous desire. This is the desire that just pops up, no stimulation necessary. It's generally high during the honeymoon phase or with NRE, new relationship energy, and typically fades in long-term relationships. Then we have responsive desire. This is the desire that's sparked by intimacy itself. Not always on your mind, but definitely there and ignited by connection when the moment is right. This is built through consistency over time and supports long-term attraction beyond just the initial chemistry. Shifting from primarily spontaneous desire to mostly responsive doesn't mean anything about your love for or attraction to your partner, or theirs for you. Neither is wrong. But mismatched libidos can create a lot of stress when one partner is constantly asking for sex and the other feels pressured. No one likes to beg any more than they like saying no all the time. Well, unless begging or saying no is your kink, in which case, get it. If you're in a sexless marriage, does that mean that your relationship is doomed? It doesn't have to. A sexless marriage is a symptom, not the problem. You must uncover what's causing the symptom so you can address it. Libidos change over time, and that's okay. What's important is addressing the issue together. If you start assuming that a lack of sex means a lack of love, which is most often not the case, that can cause even more frustration. Marriage is a team sport. You're in this together. So take a step back and look at the facts. Is your partner stressed or processing grief? Are they dealing with health complications, hormonal shifts, or body image issues? Start by exploring those possibilities first, instead of letting assumptions and stories drive your emotions. This song probably isn't even about you. So can sexless marriages be revived? Good news, nothing is permanent. Things will inevitably change. But if you want them to change in the way that you want, then you need to take action. Professional support can be a game changer here. Working with someone who processes these issues with other couples every day is not only validating, but motivating and can provide you with the tools that you need to reawaken intimacy. So before you throw in the towel, make sure you try these important things for a consistent period of time. Talk about it. Have a calm, neutral conversation outside of the bedroom and not during an intimate moment. Use I statements about how you're feeling, not accusations or blame. Be patient. You didn't build this relationship in one conversation and you didn't break it down in one either, so it's probably going to take more than one to rebuild it. Schedule time for intimacy without the pressure for sex. Just intentional connection without distractions. This dedicated quality time with your partner can be really meaningful and certainly provides more opportunity to nurture your responsive desire for each other. Remember when you first started dating? It was about spending time together. Sex was just a bonus, a really hot bonus. So when should you walk away? If your partner is blaming you without sharing any responsibility or isn't taking action or making efforts to improve things on their end, or if they're unwilling to listen or work with you to make things better with the right support, it might be time to reconsider the relationship. If marriage is a team sport and your teammate isn't collaborating with you, then you need to decide if it's still a game worth playing. Could consensual non-monogamy be the solution? If you originally signed up for a monogamous marriage, meaning one sexual and romantic partner, and there is now no sex in the relationship, then it's no longer a monogamous relationship. It's a celibate one. If that's not the relationship agreement you signed up for, then the original agreement has already been broken. But the breaking of one dimension of a contract doesn't mean that every other element of that contract should be thrown away. There are many components to a marriage in addition to the sexual aspect. I agree with psychologist Orion Taraban on this concept. More than one is not one, and neither is zero. If mismatched libidos are the issue, then consensual non-monogamy could be an option. It's not about replacing love, but about finding a way to meet both emotional and sexual needs for everyone in a mutual and respectful way. This is where professional guidance comes in, setting the right boundaries, understanding and validating your and your partner's basic needs, and exploring all the options safely and consensually. Remember, sexual needs and emotional needs can be related, but are not the same thing. You can be monoamorous, desiring emotional intimacy with only one person at a time, while also being polysexual, desiring multiple sexual partners simultaneously. In the same way that having more than one partner doesn't necessarily need to end a relationship, neither does having no partner. What matters is creating relationship agreements where everyone feels safe having their needs met. While exploring consensual non-monogamy is not exclusively sexual for many people, if both partners feel safe and secure in the relationship and all other needs are freely being met, it can provide a supportive option when done in an informed and measured way with the right support. Now, let's talk about that supportive, spicy gift I mentioned earlier. My friends at Aria want to help you find the new in the known, aka stoke your responsive desire to ignite the spontaneous. They offer customized intimacy boxes delivered straight to your door every month. These boxes are designed to reignite that spark with professional guidance, step-by-step erotic journeys, and high-quality goodies to support your exploration. They take care of the hard part so you can focus on each other. Well, although there's probably a few hard parts you won't mind focusing on. Don't give up on your marriage just yet. Sexless doesn't mean doomed. It just means something needs to change. Whether it's opening the conversation, scheduling intimacy, or exploring consensual non-monogamy, there are ways to ignite your spark again. Remember, relationships take work, but the right tools and support can make all the difference. With Aria, you'll know exactly how to reconnect and add excitement back into your relationship. And because you watched until the end, you get a 15% off your first order with my special code, Passport15. Check out the link in the video description below and happy humping.